guys, I'm Sai and welcome to today's podcast station, the home of our unique and popular series, Unscripted and Uncensored. The show is available in video format at youtube.com/podcaststation, facebook.com/podcaststation, and of course the audio version is available at all your favourite podcast and radio apps. All the links are in the description, and of course we're home to many series live and recorded featuring top guests, panelists, and more. Follow the social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and some of the shows have got their own Twitter pages and Instagram as well. All the links in the description. Saying that at the end of the show. Joining me today for an Unscripted Uncensored. It's been a while since we recorded one of these. I always enjoy them. It's one of Cage Warrior's hottest prospects, a BST Academy fighter, and most recently seen as a guest analyst on the Danny Battle Fight Show. It was Jordan The Epidemic Vucenic.
Yeah, Vucenic. Yeah.
Vucenic.
Yeah, Vucenic. That's the one, Vucenic. Do you know what, though? When I speak to guys that are from where my name is, Serbia or wherever it is, I just know it as Yugoslavia, they all say that it's not Vucenic, it's so I'm saying it wrong, so don't go off what I say.
Yeah, well, I'm getting closer and more Danny was, so then,
yeah. Oh, yeah, God.
How are you, mate? You good?
Yes, mate, I'm all good. All good.
We're trying to get this sorted for months.
Yeah.
And for one reason or another, we never kind of got around to it. My fault, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all good. So, just for anybody who's not seen this series before, it is completely different to what we do with the other shows. It's unique, and basically, what happens is we don't focus on a particular subject. We don't necessarily focus on, your career or MMA. It's all the questions and all the subjects are sent in by the people. Nothing is off limits. There's no censors. There's no scripts other than the questions that I've pasted into this document. So let's see what these guys came up with. But first of all, we'll start with the quickfire questions. So all you do here is you just say the first thing which comes to mind. Only 7 questions. And away we go. So, Daniel Cormier or John Jones?
John Jones.
Oasis or the Beatles?
Neither.
Oh. Favorite TV show?
Don't watch TV.
Jesus. Right. Laziest training partner?
Hadi Shakir.
And Conor McGregor or Michael Bisping?
Michael Bisping.
And
yes.
Who is the greatest of all time when it comes to MMA?
Khabib, yeah. No, I don't know actually. No, John Jones. I'll say John Jones. John Jones.
And lastly, what is the best film that you've ever seen?
A Star Is Born. That's probably one of the only films I've ever watched, but I thought that was right. Yeah,
so
there you go.
You don't watch TV. That's an interesting talking point straight away.
Right. Well, I tell you, all I do is I sort of train, and when I'm not training, I've got my iPad and I'm watching UFC fights, and then I'm off to training again. Vice versa. That's why my girlfriend goes mad about it. She says, "Bloody, you're obsessed with that. Do you not ever get bored of it?" I'm like, "Nah, not really. Ever since I started, I've never been able to switch off from it. As weird as that sounds, though. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit of a weirdo with telly. Even if my missus is sitting watching telly, I'll be on my phone looking at fighters' Instagrams or anything like that. So
obsession.
Yeah, not.
But then,
yes.
All the.
If you want to make it, you got to be in you.
Yeah, I think any like top level elite sport, you have to have that bit of an obsession about it because.
Yeah.
If you look at the best footballers or the best athletes, best fighters, they've all got that bit of a obsession, day in, day out. You got to. I think it's 100%. So I can see that. So before we get into the questions of the people, we'll learn a
Yeah.
little bit about you. And so just tell us a bit about you, like where you're from, maybe a bit about your upbringing, just how you got to where you are now.
So I'm born in Corby, which is classed as like Little Scotland, just because everybody here seems to be Scottish. All my family is Scottish. Then my dad's side were all Yugoslavian. And yeah, I was raised by my mum, single mum. I was raised by her with another brother. He's the complete polar opposite to me, as in every way possible. He's just the opposite to me. But yeah, I was always fighting when I was younger, all the time, and not even like an aggressive, not like starting on people or being a bully or anything. I was just always in fights. As soon as like a fight situation would arise, that'd be it. I'd be like, yeah, blah blah blah. So, yeah, I've always just sort of been in it, and then it's weird how I got into MMA. So I was on a computer, like some of the guys listening. I feel like I'm old saying it, but they won't even know what a bloody computer is because they've also got their phones and laptops, blah blah blah. But I was on the computer and I was on YouTube, and I can't even remember what I was watching, but how you've got your related bar at the bottom, and I'm just clicking through it, and then randomly I see two people fighting in a cage, and straight away I'm like, got my attention, I'm switched on, I'm watching it, and I didn't even know what UFC was, I didn't even know what MMA was. I'm just seeing two people fighting, and the first ever fighter I watched, and I had to watch his whole journey going through, was Junior Dos Santos. And Junior Dos Santos, he's an alright fighter, but I don't go out my way to watch him. But that's the very first fighter I found on YouTube, and then I was just addicted. As soon as I seen that at like 14, I was addicted to it until 17 when I first walked into a gym. But yeah, Junior Dos Santos is so if I ever see him, I'll thank him and say, you're the only reason I'm doing this, really.
So Junior Dos Santos was the catalyst for your MMA obsession.
Yes.
Yes, I see. What made you go from watching it to then deciding, right, I want to do this?
So I was always fighting in school, and I was small. I was dead small in school. I think by the time I left school, I was like 5'3" or something. I was dead little, and I was probably about 60 kilos. Probably even less than that, actually. That's me being good to myself. And then left school. I was in college, and then it's a good story as well. So there was a local gym, and I was in it doing weights, and I was with my mate Tyler, and we were doing weights. Then there's a door right at the bottom, and I looked through sort of one day, and people were in there hitting pads, and it was like a matted room. So I thought to myself, they're all doing that thing. And he said, oh yeah, they're doing MMA. Why don't you go in? And I was like, nah. He's like, oh, you love fighting, you should do it. And I was like, yeah, maybe one day I'll go in. But I didn't sort of have the courage to go in by myself. And I was always in the gym, and he'd always see me. Like, I'd always go out my way and look through that sort of window and see them all doing it. And then he goes to me one day, oh, you should just go in. And I'm like, nah. Then about a week later, he goes to me, I'm going to go into the MMA class, by the way, and do a session. Do you want to come with me? And I was like, yeah, go on then, I'll come with you. Did the class. After I loved it, said to him the next day, I sort of said, are you going to do it again? He said, no. He said, I didn't like it. He said, I only did it so you'd get your foot in the door, sort of thing. So I always say that to him as well. Now, another thing, I always say to Tyler Mellon, his name is, I always say to him, like, I would have never ever have done, and he never lets me get away with it either. He always says to me, yeah, you wouldn't even be doing it if it weren't for me. So he got my foot in the door, and when I was in there, I was hooked. And when I sort of jumped in sparring straight away, and they were saying to me, you've done something before again? I'm like, no. They're like, you've boxed or something before. You've definitely done something. I'm literally like, I ain't. I think they thought I was this guy coming in with a background trying to beat everybody up. Yeah. But I was literally just raw, and just wanted to do it.
That's wicked, though. So when you win your first world championship, whether it be in Cage Warriors or UFC, you'll have to give Tyler a shout out, definitely, mate.
Exactly, we have to give it to him.
So that's kind of cool. When did you start going to BST?
14 fights in, I first went to BST. And the funny thing is, I say this to Danny, I say this all the time to him now. So I was 14-0 when I first went to BST. I'd been traveling all over, here, there, and everywhere, learning everything I could. Blah, blah.
Your sound's gone off, mate.
Fuck. Oh, right.
No, you're gone again. Go out and come back in. Mate.
Sorry about that, mate. That's someone trying to call me.
Yeah, I was going to say, if someone tries to call you, what'll happen is the sound will go off it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what you can do really, other than, like, there's not much you
Just
can
hang
do.
up on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, where was I? I know it was only 2 seconds ago.
So yeah, you were
Oh yes, yeah.
going into BST.
So I'm 14 now. I go to BST, and I went. I sort of went there. I went to BST 3 times before I actually joined. I went there the first time, I got beat up. Left. Went there the second time, got beat up. So third time I come, I'd done my 5-5s MMA rounds, and I'd lost every single round. I'm sitting on the cage after, and I'm feeling sorry for myself. Danny's like to me, "Yeah, bloody bar, I told you. You come here before. I told you you'd be really good. You go off, you come back. Like, you took 1 step forward, we took 3, blah, 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 all this big thing. Like, give me a right good telling off." And I'm sort of there, like, thinking in my head. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to get really good. I'm going to beat all these guys up. Because when I used to go, I used to write down who'd beat me in rounds. So Ray beat me in a round. This person beat me in a round. I used to write it all down on my phone. And there were so many times they were beating, like, there was never times where I was beating them in rounds. They were all beating me constantly. So I thought, right, I'm going to stick to this place. I'm going to proper set it to myself. That's it. I'm staying here. First fight I had for BST, I lost it. So now I was 14-1. But then I thought to myself, it'd been easy to go, oh, nah, they're bloody wrong. I was winning them. So I thought, nope, I'm going to stick at it, stay at this gym. And then, yeah, the rest is history. Now I'm 30 wins and 2 losses altogether. And yeah, the 2 losses are not good. But, yeah, originally as well, with going BST, I didn't drive. So I had to go. It was a guy called Ryan Barbie and Dan Good. That's who used to drive. So wherever they went, I had to go. They wanted to go this gym. I had to go. I had no say in the matter. As soon as I got my own car, that was it. It was at BST full time. And I remember when I got it, Dan actually said to me, "We ain't going to see you again now, are you? You're going BST." And I was like, "Yep." And then, yeah, that's it. I've been there ever since.
So, just last thing before we go into some of the stuff which people have sent in.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Cage Warriors, we talked about a little bit on the Danny Bratton show, where we discussed like they announced the 3 shows in Cage Warriors. Are you still looking to fight on one of those 3 days?
Yes, hopefully I'm booked for one of them. I just need to see what happens. But fingers crossed, I'll be on one of them days. It doesn't bother. Well, the 24th is my year anniversary with my missus, so hopefully it's on that day and I can celebrate twice. Yeah.
You'll be popular though. Like,
yeah,
can't go anywhere. I'm fighting.
Yeah. So,
right. So the first subject that we got sent in was Conor McGregor. What do you think of Conor McGregor? What's the first thing which comes to your mind when I say Conor McGregor to you?
Just a proper superstar, and he did change the way the sport. He did change the way for all of us upcoming fighters. He was one of the sort of first fighters that I like really looked up to and thought, yeah, he's the man. But as I've got older and as I realised some of the stuff he does, you go off of him as a sort of role model for it. I want to make as much money as him. I just don't want to be perceived as he's perceived by MMA fighters. The average Joe perceives him as being the man, but you sort of top MMA fighters, he ain't perceived as that. He's perceived as a bit of an arsehole.
Yeah, I think for me, like the thing I look with him is I look at him up to maybe the Aldo fight, where he literally dragged himself, where his missus was supporting him. He had no money. He was on like benefits, and he was scratching around for like finding money to go to the gym and money to eat. And he literally, with a combination of hard work and dedication and talent, like fought his way through Cage Warriors all the way up to the UFC, and then he took the UFC by storm. You can't deny, like, it makes me laugh now where he's done some questionable things outside of the cage, and he's gone and had the match with Mayweather, and then he's lost to Khabib.
Yeah,
but it does make me laugh that people kind of write off his ability as a fighter. Like, when you look at some of the names that he's beaten, like he starched one of the at the time, someone who had barely lost an MMA bout, was one of the best bantamweights on the planet, and he starched him in like 30 seconds.
He's an
and like even when he lost to Diaz, he came back and fought him, and like he fought Diaz. Man, people forget he fought a weight up. You know, Diaz had a big size advantage, and like he fought wrestlers like Chad Mendes, who people said, oh, as soon as he fights a wrestler, you know, he'll flop. And I know, you know, he went on to lose to Khabib, but everyone loses to Khabib. It's what people seem to forget. And I think sometimes people don't give Conor McGregor the athlete. You know, if you separate the athlete from the persona outside of the cage, I think people don't give him enough credit.
The guy's a freak athlete, an animal, one punch knockout power at that low weight class. Not a lot of people have got that. And just the way he just perceived himself in the beginning and come across, it was just crazy. Like, but
got the gift of the gab,
yeah. So you can't, and if any fight is up and coming, are like, oh, fuck Conor McGregor, blah blah blah. You think like, nah, he's the one that's gonna get. He's the one that's. Fighters are complaining now about their pays in the UFC. They would be getting loads less if it weren't for Conor McGregor. So imagine how much they'd be complaining then.
He changed the game, didn't he, for fighters in terms of how much money they earn. And I think, in many ways, like I look at it and I look at the way he changed the game, and like I think people forget that like this ESPN deal which the UFC's got now. It's been, I think that's one of the reasons why McGregor's kind of fallen out a bit with the UFC, because he knows that if they didn't have all their pay-per-view money up front from ESPN, they would need Conor McGregor and John Jones and these people fighting twice a year because they sell millions of pay-per-views. And then Conor McGregor and John Jones, they get a massive or a good percentage of that, and that's how they make their money. And I think unfortunately, the ESPN deal has kind of given the power back to the UFC a bit, I think, because they've already got the money, so they don't really, you know, they're not bothered about, you know, they're still putting on great fights, but because ESPN will moan. But from I think Conor McGregor, John Jones, Cormier, Khabib, these, you know, the top stars, they had a bit of leverage whereby they would know when the UFC had maybe gone a couple of months without having a really top selling pay-per-view. So they've got a bit of leverage, haven't they?
100%. And get the fights they want to get.
So I'm going to list off some of these names which Conor McGregor fought, and when you look at it on paper, incredible. So just the UFC names, he fought Mendes, Aldo, Diaz twice, Eddie Alvarez. So Mendes was the wrestler who was going to trouble him, beat him comfortably. Jose Aldo, 30 seconds, job done. Lost to Diaz, but then comfortably, I thought, won 3-2 in rounds in the second fight. Eddie Alvarez, again, people said, you know, Eddie Alvarez was at the top of his game. Eddie Alvarez done nothing since he faced Conor McGregor. Nothing.
Eddie Alvarez. I remember when I was watching it as well, I'd sort of been sucked into the hype of Eddie Alvarez of like, oh, this guy like gets hurt and comes back and wins all the time. And then McGregor just made it look easy. And you just think like, I remember when I watched that fight live, I remember just thinking to myself like, wow, that is great. He just did it so easy. The whole thing. Just landing it. And it was especially the fear, mate,
when Alvarez got hit the first time he took a proper shot on the chin, you could see like in his eyes, he was like, oh.
Well, he said in the interview after, didn't he? He said in the interview, he said, I didn't even know what he hit me with. So I just knew he hit me, and I sort of thought, what the fuck's he just hit me with? But even the finishing combo, when it's like the left hand, and he steps back, the left hand again, you just think like, it's crazy.
Precision, isn't it? He's, you know, and people say like about the Khabib fight, but everyone loses to Khabib. Everyone. And I can't wait for the Khabib versus Gaethje fight. I think that'll if that ends up happening, that'll be amazing. I've said this, people give me stick for it all the time. I do want to see a Conor rematch if Conor comes back as fit and motivated as he was versus Cerrone, because when he fought Cerrone, you could see the motivation was back to where it was when he fought Eddie Alvarez. Like people forget as well is Donald Cerrone was about months before he, or say a year before he fought Conor McGregor, was on like an insane winning streak of
It's
like, you know what I mean? He was beating. He was on a really big winning streak. He was doing really well. People were talking about him maybe getting title shots, and McGregor came off this long layoff, and
then just smoked them easy again. Yeah,
and it was easy. Like again though, like the Alvarez fight, mate. I felt like he once he got hit, I think it was the kick, and then those shoulders in the clinch as well. He didn't know where to go from there. Like, it's insane.
Well, I had someone message me, one of my friends, and say, "Oh, mate, I'm going to put £50 on Cerrone. What do you think?" And I just said, "Don't do it." I said, and he says, "Oh, why? Why do you think Cerrone's an animal? McGregor's been off for ages." I said, "Listen, McGregor shows up better than anybody else does on the night, and when it comes to the big fights, Cerrone seems to not show up on the night."
Yeah,
and then he messaged me sort of 2 minutes after saying, "Fastest £50 I've ever lost in my life." I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, Cerrone unfortunately does seem to have that in him, that when it comes to those big fights,
he just don't show up.
To be able to get it in, just get it. I don't know whether it's a psychological thing or what. I just can't get it right. What do you like before fights? Do you get nervous?
Yeah, do you know what? I get nervous at 2 points. I get nervous when I first get given the opponent, like I'm a weirdo. I'm like shaking watching their YouTube videos. I get nervous then, and then I get nervous when it's sort of, when we're fighting, you're on next, and I'm a bit like, all right. But by the time I sort of get in there, I'm all right. Like, I'll do a thing. If you notice now, I've said this on my fight, so I walk up to the cage, and then I always pause for a second before I step in, because for my first my first fight, I didn't think about it too much, so I was fine. And then my second, third, fourth, it was like a weird thing. It was as I stepped into the cage, it was as if the cage just zapped everything out of me, and my legs went jelly legs. As soon as I stepped on that canvas, it was like, oh, my legs just went. So the fifth time, I remember I stopped, and I sort of thought, here we go. I stepped on, and I remember there was no fear, no heavy legs, no nothing. It didn't zap my energy. Yeah. And I remember from that moment, I thought, I'm always going to pause just before I step in, and sort of just remind myself, look, you used to get jelly legs when you walk in here. Now you walk in and you're the man, you're the king. You can just do it now. It doesn't matter. So yeah, now you say that, I'll walk right up to it dead quick. I'll stop for a split second, and then I'll step in. And it's just reminding myself, you used to be scared before you stepped in here. Now it's do or die. Like, you don't care anymore.
Composing yourself, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I know how hard I train, so when I get in there, I know I've left it all. If I lose, I've lost. I've lost twice now, and as weird as it sounds, I've sort of come to terms with you're going to lose sometimes. Whereas before I used to say like, oh, I can't lose. Now I've sort of come to terms with, look, like if I'm gonna give it all I've got, and I'm gonna give it my all to win. But if I don't, this is just a game. Sometimes it's MMA. Someone said before, if you ain't lost, you ain't fighting the right people. And my losses have been my biggest lessons, to be fair. Not that I don't want any more lessons. I don't make out I'm saying I want any more lessons. I want all the wins. But yeah,
the thing is, mate,
there's so many ways.
It's like life in general. You learn more from your mistakes than your successes at the end of the day. And like,
exactly.
I say that to my kids all the time. Like, I've learned so much more from the times I've fucked up than I have when things are going well and done really good. Like,
well, if I do 100 things wrong in a fight and I win it, I probably am only going to pick out 5 of them things that I've done wrong. If I do 100 things wrong and I lose, I'm going to pick out all 100 things wrong that I've done. So,
so when we had Jack Shaw on, before, you can check out his Unscripted Uncensored, but also he had him on the Danny Brown show again, and Danny was asking him about the his unbeaten streak. Obviously, he's unbeaten in everywhere. He's never lost. But like, what I'm getting at is, you mentioned it there, like you've lost twice, and before you lost, it was a big thing, whereby if you lost, it was like the end of the world. And I do think, like Danny was asking Jack about, does it add an extra pressure that you're not just fighting the fight, and trying to work your way up, you know, to a
Yeah.
UFC top 10 place. But you're also defending this undefeated streak, which comes with another set of pressure. Like, in fairness, you know, to Jack, I don't know if you've ever kind of watched his interviews or spoken to him, but like, you know, he's about as laid back as you're going to get. But I mean, for any fighter, I think that does provide an extra bit of pressure if you've got that unbeaten streak. And you never know how someone's going to react to losing until they lose, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I'm not one to think around it. When I first lost, I was crying my eyes out before I'd even got out of the cage. I was sort of bubbling up already when I knew I'd lost. Sort of when I got out there, sort of quickly scuffled away where nobody could see me, and then that was it. I was bawling my eyes out, and I ain't afraid to admit that, because if you put as much in as I put in, it's like the end of the world when it happens. But you just got to pick yourself up, dust yourself off from it. I've lost at pro, and when I lost at pro, I wasn't even upset because I hadn't even done everything I could to win the fight. I'd sort of just let him win the fight, as bad as that sounds. I just sort of let him win the fight. I wasn't taking any damage, so I've seen it as a fight. I'm not taking any damage. It's fine. When I get my opportunities, I'm landing the damage. Then I had to sort of take a step back after it and think, like, nah, it's not a fight. It's not a fight to the death. There is a time limit on this fight. It's a game we're playing at the end. So now I used to just try strike all the time and try anti-wrestle and just try land big shots, and I needed to be the one that was doing all the work. Now I'm getting smarter with it. I've learned to actually slow down a bit when I'm fighting now and pick shots better rather than have to win the round convincingly. If I'm going to steal the round from you, I'll steal it. I'm like, all right. If I need to get a bigger finish, I'll get a big finish towards the end. But as long as I'm winning, I'm ahead. I stay ahead.
Yeah, it's good thinking.
Yeah.
Well, so one of the questions we had was, what's more satisfying, a knockout victory, a submission, or outpointing someone?
I don't know. I haven't had a clinical one-punch knockout, and I want it. Yeah. But I don't feel in myself I've got that clinical one punch. I hit you. I'll switch your legs out before you hit the ground. I'm not deluded. I've never done it, so I don't feel like I've got that shot in me. But I'd say, I think if I had knocked someone out cold, I would say the knockout. A submission's nice. I've won by submission. I've won by TKO, and I've won by decision. Just a win. It doesn't matter how you win, but I do think if I had one punch knockout, that'd be my go-to if I could do it. Yeah.
So we'll stick with the MMA questions just for now. Let's have a look what we got. Trying to find a good one. Who do you, when you look at the kind of the MMA scene, like the British MMA scene, whether it's within the UFC or Cage Warriors, who do you see as the next or the first potential British world champion since Michael Bisping?
We've spoke about Arnold Allen, Jack Shaw, these sort of guys. I think all of these have got the potential to sort of go up there. Well, Jack Shaw's Welsh, so I don't know if you. But I think Arnold Allen's got a good shot. I think Jack Shaw. I think the UK guys are just getting a lot better and a lot more clever, and strategic wise, a lot better. I think everybody in the world's getting better, but the UK just seem to be jumping up leaps and bounds quite fast. So yeah, I think these guys can do it. I think I can do it. There's so many even amateurs and guys that have just turned pro. I think like we've all got the potential to do these. It just depends how we have it on the night. But yeah, there's a lot of guys. There's guys who've had one pro fight, and I think to myself, fucking, that'd be a hard fight, man, if that come up.
The British scene, I think, is insane for talent. Like, you look at the guys who are kind of just going into the UFC now. You look at the guys at the top of the Cage Warriors now, and then you look at the guys kind of just under that in Cage Warriors, and then like I listened to Danny and to Richard Shaw and other coaches talking about the talent, like you just said, which are currently amateurs who are going to turn pro in a year or two, and it's, you know, you'd like to think that maybe in sort of by like 5 years from now, they would just be like a lot of British fighters in the top 10 and holding titles within the UFC because the scene just there's so much talent there.
I think so. Yeah.
What about
Yeah.
what else we got? So one of the questions we had about was weight cutting.
Yeah.
And they said how much weight or what weight do you walk around at, and how much do you have to cut to fight? Do you find it hard? And could the world of MMA what could the world of MMA do to make it weight cutting safer?
So I used to walk around at about 85 kilos all the time, but listen, this is some people go, oh yeah, I'll fight at 66 and I'll walk around near 90, and I'm like, yeah, but are you a real near 90 or are you just a big fat fucker because you're eating loads of shit? Because me at 84, I went fit, I was a fat fucker, simple as that. Like, I'd take my top off and you'd think, fucking, you're in all right shape, ain't you? But I knew in myself, this isn't the size I should be. Like, when I get to about 77, 76, I walk around about 77, 76 kilos, and that's me training twice a day. Like, I'm pretty cut at that weight. But if I was going to be really strict and on it, like some people, I think I could get down to walking around at sort of 73, 74 kilos. I've done some cuts where I've cut from 72 kilos to 66 the night before. I've done some cuts where I've woke up at 68 kilos and I've had to cut to 66. So it all just depends. And it's just how dedicated you are with it, to be fair. So when I've had loads of people come to me, oh, what weight do you fight? And I'm like, 66. I'm like, fucking hell, you're big for 66, aren't you? I think I'm just dedicated. If I really wanted to, people say this to me, Trink, you get down to 61. If I really said to myself, I'm going to make 61 kilos, I would make it. Like, there's no if, no buts, of it, maybes. I'd make 61 I know myself that's not like a smart thing to do because I could. Yeah. But I'm saying if I wanted to make 61, I would make it. But I know I'd sacrifice too much. Me getting to 66 is quite a big weight cut. I'm quite a big guy walking around. I'm 5'11". I walk around at 77, 78 kilos. So my cuts are big, but they're not actually hard because I do it smart. I do it from a while out. I don't leave it last minute like I used to. I do it I'm pretty bang on it. I'm consistent with everything, all the cardio, all the running, the diet. Especially when I've got a fight, I can be like, that's it. I'm done with bad food now. Bam, that's me diet. I've got a fight. I can just switch on like that. And I think it's just because I'm so obsessed with it. I wanna watch myself back and be like, yeah, that was good. I don't want to watch myself back and be like, could have done this, could have done that. I'm that weird guy when I have a fight, I watch it back about 50 times. People go, you watching your fight back again? I'm like,
yeah. And I think the thing is, you get out what you put in, don't you, as well? And it's like, if you kind of don't put in maybe the dedication to the weight cut or to your preparation in a fight camp, and then you lose in a close decision, you're always going to be in the back of your head like, did I really put everything into that, or did I kind of half-ass it, or did I take it as seriously as I should have? So it's about having like no regrets, I guess.
100%.
So another question relating to the weight cutting was, why don't more fighters just fight at the weight that they're naturally at? Why do they drop? Like, why do they cut weight to a smaller weight?
I just think it's as simple as this. If 80% of us started fighting at the fight we walk around at, the 20% that cut would probably beat the 80% of us that are cutting the weight. And it's just as simple as that. Unless they put a ban in place or an actual rule where you have to, like one does with the hydration tests and stuff like that. Unless we physically have something like that involved, we ain't going to do it, because I know from experience from myself, I will do everything I can to win. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, sort of thing. So if I know I can cut weight and I can come in bigger than you, I'm going to do it. I mean, like, taking steroids and all that, that's just, there's that thing before, like, if you kill someone when you are on steroids in a fight, you should be trialed for murder. I do believe all that sort of stuff. But I think any advantage people can do that's legal, they're going to do it. So if I think to myself, someone says, oh, the guy you're fighting walks around at 66 kilos, I'll be like, cheers then, mate. Like, that'll do me smash. Because I know for a fact I'm going to be far too big for you at 66 kilos. I mean, I'm a big guy at 66 kilos now. Even on my last fight in Cage Warriors, it was a catch weight, and the commentators are like, fair play to Common Day. Like, you can see Jordan's physically massive compared to him. Common Day normally fights at 66. I think I normally fight at 66 kilos.
Yeah. So why was that when a catch weight? Was that because he was a late?
So that was because I had someone else booked. I had a guy called Lewis Monarch booked. Then he sort of pulled out. Well, then he pulled out, and then it was, am I fighting? Am I not? You've been dieting for 12 weeks. I'm like, I'm gonna eat some bad food. I'm so depleted that my body sucked it all up. My weight is going up, down, here, there, and everywhere. I don't know what's happening. So in the end, I just to ease myself a bit, I said, can I just make it a catch weight? 150 pounds, I'm sure the catch weight was. And again, I had to cut weight to 150 pounds. I'm not walking around 150 pounds. I still need to cut a good amount of weight to get to that weight. And it was just the sort of right thing to do last minute, was to cut. I felt a bit bad for that Common Day off walk, because I was huge compared to him. I remember thinking, oh, bloody hell. Because he sort of said, yeah, okay, I'll do it at 150 pounds. When I come in, I remember looking at him thinking, bloody hell, even if I was knackered, I think I could just grab hold of you and you'd be a good spot.
So, what sort of music do you like?
Any. Do you know what? I actually run listening to like country music and all sorts. I can't even lie to you. Yeah.
Do you like Oasis or the Beatles?
Well, I've never thought to myself, I'm going to listen to Oasis. I'm going to like go out my way and listen to the Beatles.
Yeah.
Oasis, what? Oasis. I know some songs from the Oasis. I think I probably know some songs lyric-wise from them, but I haven't ever gone out my way and thought I'm going to listen to that. I'm just on Spotify and I just start playing that playlist and that's it. 80s music, anything. I'll just play the songs.
Do you listen to different stuff depending on like if you're in the gym or if you're running or?
No, not really. Not really. Because sometimes I'm running and I'm thinking I'm running at such a slow pace. Why is this? And then I realise because I've got like love songs on and it's not a very high tempo. I'm sort of running along to the pace of the music.
All by myself. Just like
yeah. Thinking about bloody my mate sexes. Do you know what I mean? Like that's yeah.
What's your favourite song to walk out to?
I've changed it every single time I thought. I've never come out to one. I remember I had one song. It was like a tiny temper song randomly. And I remember I played it and I really envisioned this fight. It was my 15th fight, actually. Really envisioned it. It all went exactly how I wanted it. Went in there and lost my fight. But I reckon if I won that fight, that would have been my walkout song forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just always just changed it ever since. Last time I come out to Professor Green Jungle, and the sort of woman at Cage Wars was like, you look like Professor Green a little bit, actually. You want to give her my walkers? I'm like, oh. I think a lot of people think I'm going to stick to that, but I'll change it again. I just change. Sometimes I'm just driving, a playlist is playing on Spotify, something will play, and I'll think to myself, yeah, that'll be a walkout song. That's as simple as I do it.
Awesome. So, what else we got? Tattoos. You have several, lots. How many do you have? How many tattoos have you got?
I couldn't sort of count to you and say, because if we went off that, I'd be like, there's one tattoo, there's two, there's three, there's four. I'm probably about, probably not that much. I'm probably about 40% covered. I'm not actually that much. It's just because they're spread out in good areas. It looks like I'm covered more. I want to be really covered in them, to be fair. And that's probably influenced by my mate Dan. When I started, he was sort of where I wanted to be. Had a couple of fights. He was covered in tattoos, and then I just started getting covered in them. And when I'm getting tattoos, people go, oh, that's a nice tattoo, isn't it? And then ever since that, I just got covered. Now I do it for myself. I just like being covered. Danny always says, yeah, you get tattooed so you look hard. I'm like, I don't. I like the look of my body when I'm tattooed, yeah.
Tattoos are addictive, though. I say that all the time. Like I've only got a couple, and like both times when I had them done, like straight away, I wanted to have more. Like
Yeah. Well, people say to me, oh, do you like the pain tattoos? I'm like, no, I hate it. When I get in a tattoo chair, I literally think to myself, why the fuck am I getting tattooed again? But then when you're finished and they're healed, you're like, yeah, I want another one. You sort of forget the pain after 2 weeks. I've had the back of my head tattooed and everything.
What have you got on the back of your head?
I've just got a big mandala pattern. I've got my neck literally tattooed you can't really see it with the light, but I've got my neck tattooed all the way back, right up to I've got my fingers done right to the bottom. I've got, when I put my MMA gloves on, you can't really see it, but I've got Fearless. So when I have my MMA gloves on, it covers the top part of my hand, and literally I've got Fearless sticking out. So I always, when I'm getting my hands wrapped, I always see that as well, just before I'm out fights. That's a good little thing.
Cool. So Yeah, I want to get I want to get like the whole of my, well, I want to have sleeves basically, or I want to get my left arm sleeve before my birthday next year.
Yeah.
Because I keep putting it off, like not because of any reason other than
Yeah.
I know what I want within my sleeve. I know like certain things that I want involved in it, but
Yeah.
I'm shit at art, so I need
Yeah.
someone to like design,
Draw
like
it, draw it how
put
you
my
want it.
ideas, put my ideas into this sleeve, and it's
Yeah.
harder than you think because I'm so
100%.
bad at explaining stuff. I'm so vague. It's like, look, I want like this date, and I want this card, and I want this thing in
In
it.
this way.
But
Yeah.
I need you to tell me how you're going to put it into a tattoo, sort of thing. But I'll get there. I've set myself. I'm 40 next November, like a 2021.
Yeah.
So I've set myself the target that I will get it done before then. But we'll see.
Yes.
We'll see. I probably will put it off for some unknown reason. Have you got a favourite tattoo?
No, I haven't.
No.
I got one. Do you know what? Right, I got one. I've never really put that much effort into tattoos, like thinking of them. I've just sort of gone with the flow. But I got a black jaguar in an octagon on my hand, and I thought that was my thing. Like, I thought a jaguar's like one of the deadliest cats. It's not the biggest. Blah blah blah. All this thing. Got it in an octagon, and then I was off training for a day, and then I got bored, so I thought I'm going to go to the gym anyway. Went to the gym, wrapped my hands, hit the boxing bag for like 10 rounds, come off and ripped the majority of it out. So you can't even tell what it looks like. It just looks like a blur now. But yeah, that was probably, it would have been my favourite tattoo, but now it's just a blur. And when people see it, they're like, that's a shit tattoo. I'm like, yeah.
It looked good.
Yes, the thought of it was good, but now, yeah, my backgrounds. But that just shows you how impatient I am with training. I just needed to train. I thought, oh, fuck the tattoo.
So, have you got one which is like weird, or like just, I don't know, like just
I've got
just like a I don't know, something stupid like a Durex symbol or something. You know, like people have like really weird ones.
No, I haven't got anything like that. I've got my I don't know if you've seen it, The Epidemic. I've got like a certain way it's been made for me. I've got that tattooed on my left bicep. To be fair, that's one of my favorite. That's probably my favorite tattoo. Yeah, I got it done just before the pro fight I lost, and my plan was when I won it, I was going to tense my arm and point to the tattoo, but I didn't get a chance to do that because I got beat. I haven't really. I've got pretty shit tattoos. I've got one sleeve that's terrible, and I've got one sleeve that's really good. So yeah, I'm pretty much. I'm covered in shit tattoos, if I'm honest with you, but I'm not really bothered now. I've got that many, you can't tell they're that shit.
What was the worst one? Like apart from like the one that you ruined on your hand, which would have been good.
Probably my chest piece. It's all just pretty much blacked out now. I've come from training anyway, so I ain't got a top on this thing, but I've pretty much just got a whole black chest now. It's been sort of blacked out as much as I could get it done. Probably that, because I had a tattoo done that was a really bad tattoo.
What was the previous tattoo then?
It was a tiger with 3 eyes randomly. I don't know why. It was just and it was black and white, so it was like a comic. I don't know. Do you know what? It's a funny story with it as well. I was sort of young. I was 17, so I'm not even allowed to get tattoos. So when I sort of got it done, I had to just take whatever he was going to give me, right? I always say it's a funny story. I've got two stories. I'll tell you this one after. So we're getting my chest tattoo done. He shows me it. He says, I want this, right? So I'm like, all right, you just put it on me, right? So he sticks it on me. He takes a step back. He takes a long pause. He puts his hand on his chin like this. He's looking at me. And his face, he went, and then he went, yeah, it will do. And I remember my head thinking, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, if even he's going, yeah, that will do. I thought to myself, it's probably not straight or anything. And I've got a funny tattoo. I got tattooed when I was like 15. I get behind my mum's back. I got tattooed on my back, right? And it was a guy that would come around your house and tattoo you. This is why I don't care with tattoos anymore. So, picture the scene. He's in my house. Well, he's in my mate's house. He's tattooing my back. He has a weed joint in his mouth. He's got smoke in one of his eyes. He's tattooing me like smoke in his eyes. He puts a stupid Chinese symbol on me and writing underneath. So he's got smoke in his eye. He's tattooed me. He finishes the tattoo. He goes, "All done, mate." I'm like, "Cheers, boss." He's like, reads me the tattoo, and I goes, "It doesn't say that." He goes, "It does." I'm reading it off your back. I'm like, he's missed out like 5 words from this sentence.
Jesus.
He must have been that high. So I've actually got a sentence on my back that doesn't even make sense, and a Chinese symbol. I didn't even know what it meant. My mate pretended to me and said his grand said it means like rice and peas or something like that, but she translated it. She said it means strength or something along those lines. So at least the Chinese symbol actually means something half decent. Yeah. And then I've got that. Yeah. But yeah, I've had some bad things with tattoos.
So what was your mother's reaction when she found out that you'd had your back tattooed age 15?
I got my neck and back tattooed on the exact same time. So when I walked in with a neck tattoo, she just went like, "Oh, for God's sake!" And it was my mum's boyfriend at the time. Was like, "Oh, you fucking idiot! Blah 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 blah. This is for MMA or anything." He's like, "You fucking fucked it for yourself." Blah blah blah. So I'm lucky I sort of took this the line of work I did, or I'd probably be in a factory right now.
So, I just while you were talking, then I was just having a look to see if I could see this three-eyed tiger tattoo. And you'll be happy.
Yeah, you'll be able to find it.
You'll be happy to know that I found it. It's your image on Tapology. They've still got that instead of the most recent
bad,
one.
Isn't it? And even those 2 skulls next to it. And I did not want them skulls, but I showed him a skull, and it was quite a good one. And he went, "Nah, that's rubbish. That is. I'll give you this one." But the one I wanted was sort of where they don't use outlines. The way all tattoos are now, realism. That's how I wanted. But me thinking to it, he's a tattooist. He knows what he's on about. Now I think back to it, he was just shy and didn't know how to tattoo that. So he put 2 shitty skulls on either side of me, and you can still see them now. It doesn't matter.
So
yeah, they need to update that picture.
There he is. There he is.
Oh Jesus!
You can't quite see.
I can't zoom in. You know what though? It was probably better then than it is now. Oh Jesus, man! Yeah.
Trying to zoom into it, but you can't for some reason because it just takes you to the link. But then you can see the updated version is there.
It's basically blacked out. Yeah, I'm just like a big black. Just got a big black chest now. That's pretty much it.
See, that looks alright though. I think that looks quite cool. But I'm not so sure about the original. I gotta say, that's a bit. Yeah. I'm not feeling that one.
Yeah, no.
But there we go. Right. So, tattoos. We talk music. Lots to talk about. But I could talk about tattoos all day long, mate. I've got to be honest. Do you follow any other sports other than MMA?
Nah, I'd be lying to you if I said I did. Not really. Maybe boxing a little bit, but I'm not in depth with it. I sort of only know boxing when there's a big name on, like Alvarez or a Fury. When it's like these guys that are still famous, are still earning bloody tenfold what I probably am ever going to earn, and I don't know who they are. I've no idea who they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
not really MMA.
It's the obsession with MMA and nothing
else. And even that, I don't really watch MMA live events. My sort of thing is, I pick a fighter and it's sort of, right, I'll watch one of his fights. I'll watch him all a couple of times and I'll pick another fighter. And again, I go through weird stages. I was watching a guy, Gregor Gillespie, who's in the UFC. He's a really sick wrestler. He just got knocked out. I went for his, and then for a month in the gym, all I was doing was taking everybody down. No striking. People are like, "What are you doing? You never take anybody down." Randomly, for a whole month, I'm taking people down. I'm head and arm choking everybody, and I'm doing submissions I don't normally do. And then next thing, I'm watching like that Magomed. No, what's his name? Magomed Sharipov, whatever his name is. I'm watching it. And the next thing, I'm trying to do spinning kicks in the gym and stuff like that. I've just always just sort of take the best bits I can from each guy. That's sort of all I plan to do. But I sort of write people down. Even your Jack Shaw. I've studied him for like a solid week and seen what he does good and what he does bad. Blah blah blah. So it doesn't even matter if they're not even ranked. If I think that they've got a good game, I'll study them. I'm just a weirdo like that.
No, I think it makes sense, mate, because like with mixed martial arts, it's so different to any other sport, you know? Because like with other sports, it's like it's more streamlined in what you can like train and learn and that sort of stuff. With MMA, it's so broad that you can learn of everyone. You can learn so many different. If you've got the motivation to learn every martial art in the world and create your own new ones, you can. Do you know what I mean? It's,
but if I'm only watching the guys that are famous and the guys everybody else is watching, we're all gonna be the same. If I'm watching the guys that ain't famous yet, but I think their game's wicked, I'll be doing stuff that they ain't seen yet. Where's he got that from? Like Peter Yan. I knew of Peter Yan before he was even in the UFC. I knew of him when he was in A.C.E. I thought he was wicked back then. His fights with Magomedov, I thought were crazy. So when I was saying to people when he came into the UFC, he'll win the belt, trust me. And people were like, oh yeah, whatever. Then he thought the guys from Team Alpha Male knocked him out. I'm like, I've told you. So he'll just do this to everybody. And he has. And I only come across him because I fought on A.C.E. and I sort of looked at who the champs were. And he was like, he was the champ at the weight class below. So, yeah. That's my thing. I think he's going to beat Aldo. I love Aldo, but I think Jan's going to smoke him.
Yeah, interestingly, he called out Jack Shaw yesterday. Did Peter?
He said
Peter Yan.
Yeah, he said that Jack wouldn't fight his cornerman or something, and then Graham, what's his last name? Boylan. He stuck up for him. So fair play to him. So that's a good manager sticking up for him.
Yeah, I saw not just that, but also like Jack's dad, Jack. They all kind of said bullshit. It's just like he would, Jack. I think one of the problems that Jack actually has is that people keep pulling out of they keep pulling out fights against him because I don't think a great deal of people perhaps want to fight him. He's got such a big reputation. He's obviously on that unbeaten tear. Another person who's unbeaten is someone who trains with BST also, and that's Modestus. I know I'm going to try and butcher his surname, but Modestus Bukash. I always struggle with that with his surname.
Unbeaten. But he's not unbeaten.
He's not unbeaten, is he? I thought he was.
He's 11. He's 11-2. There we go. Like I said to you before the interview started, Modestus is an animal. Like through and through, you can't even just take it away from the guy. He's just an animal. When we do the wall wrestling Shark Tanks, I just can't even get a bite on anything. He outweighs me by like 40 kilos, but it's not actually that because it's technically I can't get the bite on him. Even a big guy, if I'm able to sort of pick up a hard single leg and then you muscle out of it, I sort of know, fair play. I can't even pick the guy's leg up. Maybe because they're like big tree trunks, I can't get my arms around him, but he doesn't even let you get in to get the bite. And then you watching him spar, it's just Modestas is one of the rare heavier guys that a lighter guy can take parts away from him because he can do the things a lighter guy can do. Like I wouldn't watch Derek Lewis and think I'm going to get tips on how to fight from Derek Lewis because I'm never going to be that big. But a lighter guy can watch Modestas because he can do all these things that the lighter guys can do. He looks like a featherweight that's just took a growth pill and got massive, doesn't he? That's what he looks like. The way he moves and guy's just
he's so creative as well with his strikes and stuff, and do you know what I mean? It's like,
but he's so easy to wind up as well.
Is he?
That's the thing I like about him. Yeah, I'll get if they did a UFC embedded in our gym, I tell you, you'd be pissing yourself. He's so easy to wind up, man. But he takes it good. He's got good banter as well. He gives it back as well. So yeah.
I've had him on for. He did an Unscripted Uncensored, and he came on the Danny show as well. And I got to say, like top lad, couldn't speak highly enough of him. Like he's just nice bloke, like. But he's so big and creative. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does in his UFC debut. Just because he's been waiting so long for it that he will have. He's going to be real interesting to see what he comes up with to try and you know what I mean? Just to try and
yeah,
I don't know what the word is, like just to try and make a statement and impress, you
yeah.
know. So that'd
Well,
be.
he's so used to me taking the piss out of him all the time. I went up to him one day training. I went to him with Estes and says, "I'm going to shake your hand, mate." And he's like looking at me, going, "Oh, for fuck's sake," thinking I'm going to terrorize him. I'm like, "Fair play to you." I said, "Your Cage Warriors debut, you got knocked out cold, didn't you?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "And now look at you, mate. You're the world champion." I went, "So fair play to you for that." And you could see he was a bit like, "Fuck you know," like he's normally terrorized me. Normally I'd be like to him, "I'm going to fucking knock you out." Like you got knocked out. So yeah, but fair play to him to go UFC debut. You get knocked out cold as well, like a bad knockout. Next thing, he's the champion of the UFC. He's defending his belt. He's on the way to UFC. So props to him. You can't take that away from him, no matter who you are.
No, spot on, mate. Okay, so we've got a few questions to finish off. Let's have a look. Who would, or is there a way that Conor McGregor can beat Khabib in a rematch?
Yeah, if he goes away for about 5 years and wrestles like fucking some mad country. Nah, I can't see it. I think Khabib's just got that mentality of he's just gonna, and you don't know what's gonna happen with Khabib now with the recent passing of his dad and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think it's all crazy what's gonna happen because he was sort of the guy that got Khabib where he is. I know he's gone to AKA and stuff like that, but his dad was one of the big key parts. You're just gonna have to see what happens with how that all plays out now. I don't think Khabib's written anything, has he? He hasn't gone on social media or anything, so I don't know. No, I don't think, unless Conor McGregor catches him with that one shot and just sleeps him. And again, Khabib's gonna lose soon, and if he retires now, then obviously not. But if Khabib keeps fighting within the next 10 fights, he's gonna lose because no one's unbeatable in this game. Someone can clip him, someone can catch him. It could be probably the guy you never think's can do it. Michael Johnson clipped him right at the beginning, so. Yeah,
that's why I was looking forward to that Gaethje fight. Because I felt like Gaethje is just on fire at the moment. He's just an animal, and I thought, like, if he catches him clean, then maybe he could be the guy to do it. But you just when you listen
to the pros talk about Gaethje, they say his wrestling's just another level. If he wrestles with you, he's like one of the worst wrestlers. But they reckon that it takes it out of his gas tank when he wrestles. So you're gonna have to see. I said this to Danny recently. I said nobody's actually gone into the UFC and looked to take Khabib down. I wonder how the fight would come out then. I mean, again, I've studied Khabib. Abel Trujillo took him down, but Khabib's guard game was probably the most aggressive guard game I've ever seen in my life. He was throwing submissions up crazy. So I think he's just fucking slick everywhere. I don't know what's going to happen. Well, actually, saying this, have you ever watched Khabib versus who's the Brazilian who's proper geared up back in the day? Gleison Tibau. Have you ever watched Khabib versus Gleison Tibau? Gleison Tibau won that fight. Gleison Tibau won that fight. It was a hard fight, but Khabib didn't take him down once.
Yeah.
You have to have a look at that one. Gleison Tibau's jacked up. He's been on the Mexican supplements big time, man. He's in crazy shape. So even if he won that, it wouldn't be real because Khabib was probably clean and he definitely won. Definitely won.
I might have a look. And
it's a boring fight though, but if you watch it, you'll think Gleison wins. Even Khabib's got his head down at the end thinking he's lost. And when he wins, he's sort of like, oh shit. Yeah.
I'm going to have to, 100%, I'm going to have a look at that. That fight and just have a little nose. Who is the biggest dickhead you've met in MMA so far?
Oh, biggest dickhead. I don't know. There's loads of them. Fucking, it's full of it. Like personally, who have I met that's a dickhead? My mate Haddy at training. He's the biggest dickhead because you know why? He's got all the potential in the world, but he's just a lazy bastard. But saying that, we've told him off recently, and it's given him a bit of a kick up the arse, and he has been on it. But he's the biggest dickhead. I don't know. Yeah, probably Haddy because he was so much wasted potential. And Nick Hayes, I've got to drop this into him. This is funny. He used to say to everybody, "Oh, there's no way anybody could knock me out." Like, I honestly believe that it's physically impossible to knock me out. Blah blah blah. Like, my chin's so good, my head's so big, and then this next fight he got knocked out. So that is actually quite a funny story for him as well. But dickhead-wise, I've never really met a proper arsehole. Even the sort of fighters that are going to come across like they're arseholes, it's just for show. And that's probably what they do to make themselves feel a bit more confident in themselves. So you can't take it away from them. When they chat shit, do stuff on social media, they probably do it. It probably helps them their own self. It grows their confidence. I've always been, I always talk people up. I'd rather say my guy's 100 times better than what he is than he's shit. Some people have to say, yeah, he's shit. That's what gives them confidence. Whereas I'm always like, nah, he's fucking good, this guy is, man. And people might look at me and go, fuck off, that guy's shit, he's fighting. I'm like, he's fucking sick, mate. He's fucking wicked. He is. Yeah, no, I've not really met a dickhead yet in MMA yet. Because never say never.
Sure you will.
Yes,
sure
I'm definitely
sure. And what's been your favourite place that you've fought so far?
Favourite place I've fought so far. Probably, definitely my Cage Warriors debut at the NEC Arena in Birmingham. That's, again, because I've envisioned it so much. I've always wanted to wear the yellow gloves. I've always wanted to be under the big banner that's above the cage in Cage Warriors. So when I had that fight, it felt like I'd already had that fight a million times over. I pictured everything already. So that was good. That was, like stuff coming to fruition. That was one of them things where I was like, shit, man. Like, I imagined this years ago. Like, so for it to actually come, to actually look down and have them yellow gloves was just like another level. And when I make it to the UFC again, it's going to be another thing. I'm like, fucking hell. Yeah, I've got a weird thing. I haven't really said this to people before. So I was always able to imagine a Cage Warriors belt on me, look down and see a Cage Warriors belt. But with the UFC, I used to never be able to, and it was a weird thing. I used to think, I can't fucking imagine myself with UFC. Maybe I'm not. And then they changed the belt, and now I can imagine it. And as weird as that sounds, it was always like a weird thing in my head. Like, I can't physically imagine myself with that belt. When they changed it, as weird as it sounds, it was like, yeah, that's why I never imagined myself with that belt, because it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't ever going to be around. So there's a little crazy thing for you.
So there you go. So it seems like a good question to finish on then.
Yeah.
JD asks, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
100% in the UFC, like without a doubt in my mind, I'll be in the UFC in 5 years. I don't know whereabouts in the UFC, but I know I'll be in it, like 100%. There's literally no two. When people say to me, you need something to fall back on, I'm literally like, no, I don't. Like, I know where I'm going to be. I don't need any. What about if you get injured? I'm like, I'm not gonna. Like, I know where I'm going to be. That's it. So I've always just had that distilled in me. I've always known. Even before I even thought, in the beginning when I was thinking, I was just doing it for like, just have a couple of fights, blah blah blah. When I was meeting top trainers, they'd say like convincingly, yeah, you'll be in the UFC, mate. And I'm like, do you reckon? They're like, obviously, like as if like they're insulted, like obviously you're going to be in the UFC. So yeah, that was quite a good thing. The first sort of high level guy that said that to me was Nathan Levitt, and said it to my mate Dan. He said, Dan sort of said, yeah, we want to sort of make it to the UFC, and he said, no, I think you can both make it to the UFC. He said, but I think Jordan will be a world title chaser, and for him to say that, he's a really humble guy. I was like, fucking hell, man. When Dan told me, I was like, that's good, especially for me not even to be there. For him to say, like, nah, I think Jordan will be like a world title chaser, like 100%. Yeah. And normally you'd milk the guy that's in front of you, wouldn't you? You'd say, he's alright, but you'll be fucking really good. So yeah, that was a good thing.
Yeah, there you go. That's cool. And it shows they got faith in you, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Tell the people where they can find you on social media, mate.
Just Jordan Vucenic on Instagram. I've got like some athlete pages on Facebook. Again, Jordan The Epidemic Vucenic. But yeah, Instagram's the main thing I'm using. I'm gonna try to get a bit more active on it. Obviously, can't do much now with the gyms all closed. But when the gyms are back open, and I've got fight news and I've got hard work and all that ready to be posted, it will be posted. So yeah. Yes.
Oh, that was the other thing which I missed. You just reminded me then. Where did the nickname The Epidemic come from?
So, I was at a fight show once. The commentator said, come in, he said, what's your fight name? And I says, I ain't really got one. And he says, okay, blah, blah, blah. Then he goes, you're Jordan Vucenic, ain't you? I'm like, yeah. He's like, bloody hell, you. He says, yeah, you're definitely Jordan the Epidemic Vucenic. That's your name, laughing, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, you're that bloody guy that comes to the shows and beats everybody's top boy, ain't you? You come in and bloody beat the guys everybody wants to win, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah. And I didn't think nothing of it, because I said to him, you'll never get a nickname. Because normally it's like a VV, in it, like Jordan Vicious Vucenic or something like that, blah, blah, blah. And then, he announced me, Jordan the Epidemic Vucenic, and it just sort of stuck from there. And now I've got a tattoo, I can't take it away. So yeah, now I've just got to be the epidemic, especially we're in a pandemic now, aren't we? So people probably think, fuck that guy, I want him to lose. Just because. Yeah.
No, it's kind of cool, isn't it? Okay. Guys, you can see Jordan's show with the Danny Batten Show. We have a new episode of the Danny Batten Show every Wednesday. However, when the UFC midweek cards are happening, I think it's next week or the week after, over the next couple of weeks, we're doing a live show Sunday and then a live show on the Thursday after the Wednesday card. So come and join us. We're going to be talking about the various things. And we're going to be talking UFC 251. There's loads of UFC cards coming up. And, of course, we'll have new guests and analysts and shows and series. YouTube.com/Ace Podcast Nation. And you can find the audio versions at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio. All of them, everywhere. And follow us on social media. You've got Twitter at AceCast_Nation, Instagram Ace Podcast Nation, and Facebook.com/AceCast Nation for the latest news, guests, and live shows. Jordan, thank you, mate. I appreciate your time.
It's been a pleasure, mate. Thank you.
It's always good to have a chat, mate. I enjoyed it big time. And
Yes,
I'm sure we'll have you back on the Danny Batten Show, no doubt, soon anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely.
Cheers, buddy.
Right, mate. Thank you for that. Take care.